Ready yet? Here we are, Lisa Dunford.
Hello.
Welcome everybody. I wanted to connect with Lisa because we got the Creative Soul Retrieval coming up this summer. It's coming up soon. And Lisa also has a wonderful adventure involving maybe potentially elephants also that she's going to share about. So we thought it would be fun to talk with you. So Lisa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I participated in Sarah's soul retrieval last year, and it was amazing. Such a transformative experience, really.
Yeah. And I always tell people this is a project we're going to do every day usually we do it for 100 days. This year, we're going to do it for 84 days.
I wish we did it for 84.
I know. At the end, you're like, is it ever going to end? It is a bit of a marathon, but as we all know too, if you've ever run a marathon or a half marathon, that is also can be a life-altering experience.
And so worth it.
And so worth it. So the Creative Soul Retrieval, Lisa did it and she designed her own project, as we all do. And the idea is that the project will take you 15 minutes a day, roughly. You can spend more time if you want, but that there's like a minimum of 15 minutes or maximum, really. Tell us about what you did on your project.
So what I did was, I had tuned into my business maybe about a year before this and asked my business what it needed. And I was developing my coaching business.
Treating your business like it's a being,
like it's
alive. I love that.
Like, and asking it what it needed. And the only word that came to me was Africa.
Wow.
I wanted more information.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Africa had been really transformative in my life. I'd been there 5 times, and there's something so magical about the connection with the animals, about the primal connection we all have to the land. It just was easier to see what was real and what was not real when I was there. So, for example, the life and death struggle of these cheetahs and this impala in front of me, that's real. Worrying about what my daughter-in-law thinks about something, not so real.
Not so real.
So it just put things in perspective for me. And so at first everyone was saying, oh, you should go back to Africa. And I could do that, but that wasn't what I was feeling called to. And so the next thing that I felt called to do was your soul retrieval. And so I designed my project as 100 days of lessons from lions. And
I love that.
I started out thinking I was going to do lion artwork and reflect on, lessons I could learn from lion behavior or draw out lion oracle cards. And so that's one thing I'd say to your participants is give yourself some leeway for this to develop, right? Because I thought I was going to be doing artwork, and what I ended up doing was posting all these photos of lions I'd taken over the years, and then reflecting on something in my day or something in their behavior that could maybe help me. Like, so for example, if I was dealing with some family issues, there's a lot of lessons lions have about family. They're one of the only big cats that travels in family packs their whole life. And so I looked into that, and I looked into the matriarchal lineage. And so it was really a deep exploration, but it didn't start out that way. It started out like, I'm going to do artwork. And that's not what happened.
It's like the projects have a life of their own.
They do. And it deepened because I was posting these photos. And I think you said it best when you said, magic and miracles really unfold when we show up for ourselves. And so if you're showing up for yourself 15, 20 minutes every day, like, things happen, right? So I went deeper. I got to watch all these amazing people who were in the program with me and you dance and draw, or they did so many different things. You did one once that was wearing different outfits, which I love.
Yes.
And I love your artwork that you've put on different cards and mugs and t-shirts. Your artwork's so beautiful. So, but how often do we say we want to do these things? Like desires are our guidance system. They're putting us for a reason. And we don't always know what the reason is. And if we don't follow it, kind of something inside of us dies a little and doesn't think it's safe to keep exploring. But when we show up for ourselves every day, 15 or 20 minutes isn't that long, and we do the thing we want to say we want to do, even if it takes bravery or courage or fear we're going to fail, or, you know, like that momentum of keeping going is hard sometimes.
Yeah, like tell me about that. Where did it get rough for you? What fears came up? Because I always tell people things are going to come up.
They
It's not-
do, they do. And that was part of my reflection. So if that day it came up, I'd say, you know, I'm being hard on myself about this. And I see that I'm being hard on myself because I didn't post 2 days in a row. And I'm witnessing that. And then I think about it and I think, you know what? I bet lions don't really beat themselves up over stuff. You know, I bet they're not really going, oh, dang, I missed that impala yesterday. Let me obsess about it for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Like we do, right? And so it just gave me a different perspective and something else to go deeper into. And so if you make the resistance or the challenges part of the project, it's really fruitful, right? Because you're learning what's going to come up in other parts of your life, where something's going to stop you, what pattern you use. Like beating myself up is a pattern I use to stop myself. Like, and so I can see that, and I can grow not only in this creative area if I'm doing a creative 100-day project, but it really resonates in the rest of your life.
Totally. Yeah, what came up for me was a lot of fear around like I'm going to run out of creative ideas, or this isn't even art, this stinks, you're not good at this. Or I would just a lot of self-criticism. And as you keep showing up, that voice, I found that the voice gets quieter, because it's like, well, I guess she's going to keep going, even though we keep yammering on about how she's
Right?
not an artist, but apparently she's still making stuff. What was
And
one
that part of you is just trying to protect you, really, right? So that part
totally.
of you is trying to keep you safe. You're doing something a little scary and it's freaking out. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 don't put your art out there, right? So it's telling you all these things to try to get you to stop, when really what you're doing is you're showing that part of you that it's safe and that you love yourself enough to keep going.
Yes, absolutely. I think that says it so well. I'm so curious, like, what is one of your most, if you had to share one lion lesson with the people that are watching, like, what would that be? And I'll share one too once you've shared yours. Oh, and
I
wait, before we do that, before you share, I'm going to interrupt you because so today I started working on a painting that actually this started with a sketch like 5 days ago, which is I think before you got in touch with me. And I started working on this painting that came from a sketch.
see,
And then today I'm like, duh, like
magic happens. Magic happens.
because I'm like, I don't know. We're all so connected. And I think that's what's so cool that happens
It's
in
so
the
amazing. I love
too.
that.
Okay, your favorite lion lesson.
So I think that I think my favorite lesson is just taking up space. Like that I am here. Like lions don't really have any predators. They aren't really, they're not worried about what others think. They're not, you can tell you're sitting in this car 10, 20 feet away from a whole pride of lions, and they're just lounging about like you're nothing to worry about, and you're not anything, right? So they're doing their own thing, and that sense of sovereignty is something I really carried forward. Like, I am here.
I love that. I love that. So awesome. I remember, well, two things. I remember laying in bed when my friend Susie and I were in South Africa and we first heard our first lion roars. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like we stayed up the whole night practically just whispering in bed going, is the roar is so, it's just so primal. And it is just this, like, I'm here and I am taking up space. I'm taking up sound, the airwaves right now, just to let everybody know, in case anybody was wondering, I'm a lion and
Right?
I'm just a couple blocks away. The other thing is we went out for our first drive to go look at the animals, and there were already a couple Jeeps out there. We were running late because we had just arrived, and we went rambling over the bush and like slammed the brakes, and we landed, and there were two other Jeeps there, and we were like, we sat there for a while, really, everybody was being really quiet, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, what's everybody looking at? And then I suddenly saw it. It was like 5 feet away from us, and it was so well like camouflaged. It was
Yeah.
a pile of lady lions. I think I've told you this story before. This pile of lady
Okay.
lions who were all sleeping. There was probably 11, 12 of them literally sleeping in a pile. And every once in a while you would just see a little curl of a tail flick up. And they had apparently just made a kill and feasted. And they said they would sleep like this for probably 18 to 24 hours. And I was like, wow, like at the time I was way working too hard. I was like one of these lady lions, like bringing home the bacon, because that's what the female lions
They
do.
do.
My husband brought home bacon also, but I was
I
doing
know
a
what you
lot of
mean.
work bringing home bacon, and I was exhausted. And it was like, wow, they just rest without any apology. It's just like now we rest for 24 hours. And that's
That's
what's
so beautiful.
so neat about animals. They don't question what is needed. They just do it instinctually. And
Well, that's another one of my, I know, that's another one of my favorite memories. We were on safari at one point, and we're probably, this lioness climbed this tree. And so it was eye level with us. Like,
whoa.
so it was looking into my soul. It was looking into my soul, and not in some scary, I'm going to eat you kind of way. But it just felt like she was saying, I see you.
Hmm.
I see like all of you. I know you're here, and it just felt amazing to be seen in that way. And to have that connection with a wild animal is like something that's really hard to verbalize, actually. What it's like when you hear that roar that you
Yeah.
could feel in your chest from miles away, let alone if you're close. And it's just hard to put into words how moving that is. And I love that. I do love their ability to take up space, command presence.
Yes. And I think the animals give us that sense of awe. And I think one of the things doing a creative soul retrieval, doing this 84-day project this summer will do is it will you'll be seeing and reading and hearing things differently, because you'll always be on the lookout. Like whatever your project is, all of a sudden your brain will become this amazing
Yeah.
Google search engine, constantly searching for ideas, concepts, colors, vibrations, patterns, whatever it is you're doing. And it kind of just, it makes life that much more interesting. And
Well,
yes, will it take some effort? Yes, it will.
it will, but it's so worth it. I mean, have you ever tried not to think about the color red? All of a sudden, everything you see is red. So,
Yes.
like, it's the same thing. You're focusing your attention on something that's your desire. And I think following those desires, like breadcrumbs, is so important if we want to get to our right life, because those desires are put in for you for a reason. So if you want to dance or sing or draw or paint or photograph or design your outfit or any other thing you can think of, you could be problem solving on like an engineering problem for a little bit every day if you wanted. It's whatever lights you up. It's all about you.
It's all
And
about you.
and and that's so powerful, to give that part of you free rein and to go really deep, right? Because how often are we busy doing all the things, bringing home the bacon, and we don't give ourselves time to go deep. And I think that's a real blessing with the project like you're doing.
Yeah. And even though we go deep, it doesn't mean that it has to be more than 15 minutes. So that's the beauty of it.
No, yeah, it's cumulatively deep. It's not individually.
Yeah, exactly. It'll take you, it kind of takes you on a journey that's usually very unexpected. I want to share that Lisa is a former travel writer who kind of took a left turn with her career. She wrote for Lonely Planet, wonderful books, guidebooks, and she has a trip coming up where she's going to be bringing people to South Africa, I believe.
Yes.
And there will be coaching and transformation as a part of it. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can
So
find
I
you?
feel like I can draw a direct line from this 100-day project I did with you to a year later now, I'm offering a retreat in Africa called Open to the Magic. And it's 2 days at the Indian Ocean side and 6 days on safari, communing with these amazing lions and elephants. But I think what happened is that going deep over short periods of time in the 100-day project opened something up in me. Like, it made this possible to imagine, if that makes sense, because I wasn't quite there yet, right? I'd heard the word Africa. I didn't know exactly what it meant. And this is how we follow the breadcrumbs, right? We just know the next right action. So the next right action was doing a 100-day project. And then it wasn't probably till a year later, I was like, oh, now I'm supposed to be holding a retreat.
Mm.
And I just really got clearly how transformative Africa is. It's a magical world in general, but that magic is so much closer to the surface in the African bush.
It's so true. It is one place I just wish every single human being could go. So if you get a chance, um, Lisa, how do people find out about your
Yes, it's
trip?
if you go to opentothemagic.com, it's all there. And it's really about calling in, for me, it's about calling in your limitless potential with love. It's about being connected to that oneness, to that wordlessness that you can reach in the African bush, and then bringing it home so that you feel loved and supported by the universe, by the land and the animals, and by me on this retreat. That's the intention, is for them to have a real felt sense of that support so that they can integrate that into their daily lives and stop kind of struggling and striving to do it alone, and increase their capacity to receive so they can feel that unconditional support that's always available from the universe. And that it's so evident when you watch those animals, how connected we are, how similar we are, how there's just a primalness to that place. And even the people, it's just a magical place. And I really love South Africa.
It absolutely is. And just being able to be with the beasties and be with each other and to identify with them, there's something that, I have no doubt lots of magic is going to ensue. So thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on and talking.
Thank you. And I couldn't more heartily recommend the 100-day project or the 84-day project.
The 80. Yes, and I'll put a link to that, and I'll put a link to to Lisa's website for that trip. And thank you all for watching, and leave us a comment or let us know if you have questions.
Yes, or if you have any lessons from lions or things you want to learn, let us know.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.